Okay, hi everyone. This is Dr. Franz, and this is part two of my comparison of the fake Beat Studios versus the real Beat Studios. Now focusing more on audio quality and just some other things to note when trying to distinguish the fakes from the real ones or the originals. Now, one way that I actually found out was you could actually go online to a website called audiocheck.net. Okay, so there's the link there. I'm going to include that link at the bottom of this video. Now, in terms of why would you want to go to this website? Because there's actually a section here that says wiring. And you see that there's the left and the right here. You could actually download these, okay, onto iTunes. Because the wiring here, it says here on the bottom that this would be your last straw if your headphones manufacturer made wrong connections. It sometimes happens as reported with very cheap brands. So note that the replicas being way cheaper than the real ones, there's also an issue of quality control there. And sometimes, actually not sometimes, but for all of the fakes I've tested, they get the polarity wrong. So I downloaded it. My internet's a bit slow, so I downloaded it onto iTunes. Okay, so what I have hooked up now is the real pair. So let's go to the right. So this is the right. Okay, and okay, so hopefully this is going. Okay, so for the right ear cup, I'm going to play the file that says audiocheck.net right, and it should actually come out from that end.
Right channel.
Okay, and on the left, it should also come out when I play the file that says left channel.
Left channel. Right channel.
You see? Now, unfortunately with the fakes, this is actually a very, very good way to find out whether you actually purchased fakes or the real pair. So let me hook up the fakes here to the digital analog converter. Okay, so it's switched on. Okay, so it's switched on. So this is the right ear cup. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, so that's the right ear cup. And actually, okay, when we do this, right
channel,
it actually comes out of the left channel. Okay, and when you play the left channel file,
left channel,
it comes out. It comes out of the right. So meaning that the polarity, the way that the manufacturer of these fake headphones wired it up, they wired it up the other way around. So this has been consistent with all of the fakes that I've tested so far. Okay. Okay, so that's a pretty good way to find out. Although I wouldn't guarantee it 100% because there could be some manufacturers of these fakes who actually wired the drivers correctly. So okay, now before I move on to going back to sound quality, something that I forgot to mention in the last video was, if you look at this, okay, these are the fakes. Okay, Beats. So the Beats by Dr. Dre. Note that the word Beats and by, okay, note that there's a space in between them, but they're actually pretty close together. And if you look at the real pair, Beats, note that there's a bigger space in between the word by Dr. Dre. Okay, and I'm going to put it together so that I can actually show you. So note that the real ones are on the bottom, okay, and the fake ones are on the top. And it's best that you pause this video so you could actually look at it carefully and see how close these two words are to each other as compared to this. Okay, and Again, going back to consistency with the real ones. Here are my real solo HDs, and there you have it, double spaced. And doing a side-by-side comparison between the solo HD, the real solo HD, and the real Beat Studio there. So if you want, you could pause the video and just look at it over there. See, double space in between this. So although again not a 100% foolproof way, because some manufacturers could actually get it right. Now for the audio test, I know a lot of people don't like Beats because the sound. I mean, they say bass is overpowering and everything. It's actually true. Okay, I mean, there's really strong bass, and it's all a matter of preference. I actually like strong bass, but of course, I don't want strong bass overpowering my music. So what I did was I actually did a comparison between these two, playing it off the Mac, playing it off the iPhone, the iPod Nano, and then I played it off the Mac while a digital to analog converter was attached to it. And I also played both of them off this tube headphone amplifier to see the differences between the two. Okay, so let's just go through it. On the iPhone and the Mac, you actually notice the difference right off the bat. This has crisper sound. The bass is boomy, but you still hear the crispiness of the mid-range and the highs. Here, the bass is actually more powerful than the bass here. For the fake ones, the bass is more powerful, but the mid-range and the highs or the trebles seem very muffled. It's like the singer was actually singing from behind a wall. So that's something I noticed there. However, okay, one thing I noticed that when you actually use an equalizer, if you know how to play around with an equalizer, you could actually make this sound pretty good. Okay, I actually like the bass of these because it reminds me of the days when I had 12-inch subwoofers in the trunk of my car. This one, the bass is, I would say, very comparable to a home theater system. So it sounds good. I mean, the crispiness and everything. Now, on the DAC, when you connect them both, I'll tell you this. These headphones were not designed to be connected to any of these. Because I'll tell you this, that they actually sound better just playing off the device. You connect it to a DAC, the sound gets muddier, especially for this one. Okay, sound gets muddier, and even worse with the tube amplifier. When you hook the real ones to the DAC and the tube amplifier, you notice that deepness, the voice gets a bit deep. Okay, the highs are still there, still very clear. The bass gets a bit tighter, which is actually good. For this one, for the fakes, when you hook it up to any of these, the muddiness just gets a lot worse. And but again, you can fix it with, if you know how to play around with an equalizer. What I noticed here in terms of equalizer settings. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up iTunes. Okay, for the equalizer settings. Okay, so this is, okay, if you look at that, okay, these are the ideal equalizer settings for the fake ones. You at the 500 and 250 hertz frequency, you actually have to set it below midline. That's the only way you could actually get rid of that muddiness in the mid range. And you actually have to also, starting from the 1K onwards, you actually have to raise it up really high. The bass is okay at this level because I'll tell you this, the bass is so strong it actually shakes or vibrates the ear cups. So in terms of sound, I would say that if you are a bass head and you love powerful bass and you don't mind sacrificing mids and highs, then fakes at around $50 to $60 is not a bad deal. You'd actually enjoy it. I mean, boomy, it's very strong bass. But if you still want to hear, crisp highs and crisp mids, this is actually the real ones are the way to go. Okay, I actually find listening to music very pleasurable on the studios. Now, so a lot of people have been, saying that, I mean, even audiophiles, they don't like beats. And I understand why. Because, when you say an audiophile is a purist, they don't mess around with equalizers. They just hook it up and they just want the most natural sound possible. And I will tell you this, in all honesty, none of these headphones, okay, the Beats line, actually none of them sounds natural. I mean, you all know that I have a pair of Beats Pros. Comparing them to Sennheiser's Bose, and I also have a studio monitor there. Comparing these things, I would say that the Sennheisers and studio monitors actually sound more natural, even when compared to the Pros. So, but if you just are a casual listener, you like, the deepness. You like hearing the deepness in voices and good bass. Then definitely the Beats line is for you. Okay, so those are just things that I noticed in terms of audio quality. So just to summarize, the fake ones, bass is very powerful. Okay, very boomy, powerful. If you've ever heard 12-inch, 15-inch subwoofers in the trunk of someone's car or in your car, that's what this reminds me of. Okay, but the mid-range and the highs are so recessed, it sounds like the musician is actually behind a wall. And I don't think that that's what the musician intended for you to hear. For the real ones, bass is boomy, but more towards the home theater system setup. Mids are clear. Okay, I find the mids for this to be clear, and the highs, although they tend to be harsh, but the highs are actually pretty good as well. Noise cancellation, I have not compared these to any other. I don't have any other headphones that have active noise cancellation, so I can't really speak much regarding that. So I hope in terms of the decision, so if you're a bass head, these are a pretty good deal. Okay, for bass heads, these are a pretty good deal. But if you are more into better balanced sound, than these. But if you are really into balanced sound, I would recommend Sennheisers and Bose. Okay, they have pretty balanced sound. So I guess that's about it. And any other thoughts I may have about Beats, I'll probably make other videos about it. But for now, in terms of the audio part, then I guess that's pretty much about it. If I forget anything, I would be sure to make another video just to follow up on it. Oh, and by the way, someone asked me before, which one do I like better? Do I like the Beats Studios or the Beats Pro better? In all honesty, if I was to choose between these two, I definitely go for the Beats Pro. The sound is overall pretty well balanced. There's still that deepness, but the bass is a bit tighter, not as boomy. But basically, what I do is I take these with me if I'm on duty in a hospital or something. In between patients, I listen to music on this, and I usually just leave my pros at home, especially if I'm doing some recordings and things like that. So I hope again that was helpful, and I hope